Hello there everybody and welcome back to Sins of a Solar Empire. This is a cube. Figure I'll actually say that it's me now that I've actually done a video. Anyway, enough of my babbling. Well, no, not enough of my babbling. Anyway. So, I have been informed that apparently I should talk a bit more about the game itself, which I am perfectly fine with. So I'll start explaining a bit of stuff. Now, while my fleet takes care of these guys, and then goes and colonizes that planet, I'll just talk a little bit more about the basic things going on. So, backstory of the game. The backstory of the game is that essentially you've got the system of colonies that just human colonies, and they are all held together by the TEC, Trade Coalition, or something along those lines, which are these guys, the normal humans, as I keep calling them. Now, they discover that one of these colonies has started developing really, really strange cultish practices. Now, these were the predecessors of the Advent, the superpowered humans, as I keep calling them. Oops, wrong tab. So, these folks. Now, because of all the weirdness that the Advent were doing, the regular Trade Coalition decided to drive them out and isolate them from their homeworld. Meaning that they're kind of pissed. And so eventually, after hundreds of years, they come back and now are these more psionically powerful beings. Now, at the same time as they come back, a third faction arrives, the Vasari. These folks. The Vasari used to have a dark empire spanning thousands upon thousands of systems. They controlled galaxy upon galaxy. And then they started noticing some of their outer colonies were going dark. As in, no communications, no ships, nothing. Everything was just gone. And so they sent some ships because they figured, it's just an uprising. I mean, these guys aren't exactly the nicest folks. They create their empire by enslaving others. So they go and they try to take back these systems, but their fleets start disappearing as they send them. None of them are ever heard from again. So what do? They keep sending fleets until they start noticing some of their more loyal and core worlds start to go dark as well. At this point, some of their worlds further from the affected areas start preparing evacuation forces because they have no idea what the heck is going on. And finally, what ends up happening is one of their ships that was sent to face whatever was going on jumped back, heavily damaged, and its crew completely silent because they could not describe what they had seen. At that point, they decided to pack up and get the heck out of that galaxy. And so they left, and they started leaving warning beacons behind them. And they noticed that the warning beacons, too, went dark. Every single one. Right now, this is about as far as they've gotten. They are now in this galaxy, embroiled in this war, and they're still running. But the enemy is catching up. It is on their tail, they know it, and they are afraid. The TEC and Advent don't know. They've got no clue. But the actual enemy, I don't think it ever shows up in any of the expansions, because I know we've got 2 running right now. I've got entrenchment and diplomacy, which are kind of self-explanatory. Entrenchment gives you a bunch of additional defensive options like mine layers and star bases, whereas diplomacy gives you advanced diplomacy options.
All bounty has been depleted. Planet development complete.
Sorry about that. But you are just a faction taking on a bunch of other factions in this whole thing. So, as for who the other factions are, each of the different races is split in a bunch of little pieces. The TC have multiple factions within them, like the Provians and the Gallon Rim Union, all that. I've only got one Visari player in here, it looks like, so I can't show some of the different factions of them, but they've got a bunch of different factions within them, and as you can see, the Advent have their own set of factions. So, not even the individual races are a cohesive unit, and the Advent do count as their own race because they have so far deviated from the normal evolution of humans, if that makes any sense. But because of xenophobia and the fact that they're assuming that as a whole empires tend to be a bit racist, which, you know, it kind of makes sense. You have different relations with the different factions, and if you can look in the bottom right, you can see one of the factors affecting the relationship with other factions is racial inclination. Because I'm the same race as these guys, I have a bonus 0.95 relation with them. Whereas with these guys, I actually have a negative 1.05 relation effector. Because, well, they're just a bunch of racist bastards, apparently. And apparently my people are too. Lovely. Anyway, so because of that, I am currently at war with these guys, and these guys, and these guys, and pretty much everyone else. And these guys are actually expanding at a worrying rate. I need to start catching up.
Construction finished.
So there's a couple of different trees of research. As you can see here, I'm in the hostility tree, which, funny, it has a lot to do with weaponry. There's also security, which is the mines, the hangar defenses, star bases, and all that. And then there's harmony, which is your economics, and understanding, which is your diplomacy. Fleet logistics are fleet logistics. It's how many ships you can support, both of capital ship type and of regular frigate and cruiser type. And then artifacts. You aren't the first civs to come along. There were people before you who died out from one thing or another, and so you end up finding just these uber powerful relics of these past ages. So it'll actually let you know when someone else finds one and what world it is. It won't let you know what type it is. But the way you find them is by going to one of these worlds, opening up your planet development, and exploring the planet a couple of times. And I'll actually do that here just because hopefully we'll find something, because there's more than just relics. Some planets have different effects, like this one here has a caustic atmosphere in the bottom right there, which restricts the maximum population and increases the cost to do any of these, which sucks. Oh, I haven't built a trade port here yet. Let's fix that. But anyway, yeah, it sucks, because that means that you end up with very expensive to maintain planet, and not a very profitable planet, at least tax-wise.
Scrying a planet has revealed nothing.
Because your maximum population, you're taxing them. That's where you're getting a good chunk of your income. Right now, 14 of my 23, well, actually closer to 15 of my 23 credits are coming from taxes.
Planet development.
And later on, that's less important because you end up with huge trade routes and all of that. So you end up, see, you can already see that it's stretching a decent distance, but you'll end up with it going all the way along half of the star system, sometimes even more. So let's see, have these people found anything? Not so far. Yeah, there's nothing that they've found. Come on, give me something good. Maybe. Maybe.
Scrying a planet has revealed nothing.
Thanks for that. Alright. Well, I'll just have to keep taking planets. I think that's where... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start expanding this way. Because if I can expand this way, then I can probably curb their growth and probably start to take over some of their places, though. What the heck? They already have multiple capital ships. That... Ooh, that's worrying. Alright, I should probably catch up on that. Let's get a few of these guys. These are sort of your heavy-hitting ships, where if you need something to tank a lot of damage and deal a lot of damage as well, these are what you want to go with. Iconish Guardians and Dominus Subjugators, and every race has their own equivalent of these ships. But these guys are support, and so they do jack shit in terms of damage. But this one can cripple enemy ships, probably why it's called a Subjugator, and Domina. But this one is very good at aiding friendly ships. Funny, considering it's called the Guardian. This guy is a drone host. It hosts a bunch of fighter squadrons, fighters and bombers. But again, the revengey folks are the guys on these, so they do a lot of damage.
Knowledge acquired.
And again, every race has their own equivalent of these. The Visari, who I play a fair amount of, they have carriers that aren't quite as good. They're called Lazarek transporters. The drone host can support 3 squadrons. The other carriers can only support 2. Well, other light carriers. But the Visari instead have, or instead of the Destra Crusaders, have these rather powerful, rather powerful version of the Crusaders that shoot like these energy waves, and they're really cool, and they do a lot of damage. Essentially, imagine sort of, lightsaber blades that they just sort of fire out in arc shape. Just those are hitting your ship. Funny, but those, tear through everything fairly well. And what I'm doing up here is I am selling metal, which I have a fairly high income of. Wow, that's actually a really high income. Usually you don't see that for ages. And selling the metal to supplement my credit and crystal incomes because they are not so great.
Direct our wrath. At last,
Get all of you
revenge
over
shall be
there.
ours.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. But the reason I do that is because otherwise I'm going to have to wait for these to slowly tick up. And even though I actually lose a lot of potential resources in trading like that,
Our fleet has arrived.
honestly, it's better to do that than to let opportunities pass, because I wanted to wait until I had prime conditions. So, let's get in here and let's
Pirate
research
raiders have
the
departed.
Arctic evangelism as well. That way I can go and take this planet right after this one. Yeah, I want to take this one first.
At last, revenge
Oh.
shall be ours.
Damn, they... Ooh. That's worrying. So, your scouts going around and your ships going around will tell you what's at a base, and when they're actually there, you see it all in real time. But once they leave, it'll tell you what they last saw. So you can sort of keep track of its expansion, like the fact that I'm sure they already have this world under their control, but I just can't see it yet. So that
Unleash our
is
wrath.
worrying, because that means that they are expanding fairly fast,
Stand by for phase jump.
and I'm gonna have to deal with them. Which I had hoped to wait a little bit on. Oh, what? Okay, where's that? Where is that? Okay, it's in that system. Where is it? The heck?
Do this quickly if you seek the
Okay,
enemy's
the world
favor.
is Malhorta. Am I blind? Tell me in the comments below if I'm blind. But I don't see Malhorta. Oh, which means it's probably a world that I can't see
Knowledge
yet.
acquired.
Oh, wait a minute. The only worlds that I can't see yet in that system are over here. Holy shit, which means that these guys must have expanded. Well, either these guys expanded all the way over here, or this system's huge and has a bunch branching off from here, and there's another empire in here that's probably about the same size as one of these guys, which would be bad. Alright,
Sure,
gonna be an
ours.
interesting game. Alright, create a fleet, everyone jump as a unit, and go over there. If you don't have them jump as a unit, and even sometimes when you do have them jumping as a unit, you'll end up with half the fleet getting there
Phase jump underway.
way before the other half, which turns out bad when you're trying to assault an enemy. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll give them a bomber squadron since these guys already have a fighter squadron.
Is it time? Say no more.
Entire group jump there. But the downside is sometimes you'll have a fleet assembled that you want to jump because the rest
We need
is
your
just
call.
sort of slow. And they won't jump because they're still waiting for people. So I'm actually going to disable jumping as a group and then immediately re-enable it. Or actually, no. Disable it flat out. Because that way I can the main body of the fleet jump on, and then these guys will just join them slightly afterwards. It's more important right now than waiting for the entire fleet. So, because I get the feeling that that world is going to be attacked very, very quickly, they're talking to me. I will check them later. I am going to get this first, because that will allow my beam defense platforms, which I haven't showed you yet, to work in tangent with each other and actually do a whole heck of a lot more good. Merchant docks, don't need that yet. Hangar defense, I'll grab that. And I'll design the Italian Savior, which will let me actually build a starbase. Or actually as many starbases
We
as I
heed
want.
your call.
In the meantime, I'm also going to grab wormhole travel. That way my ships can figure out where the hell everything is.
Your desires?
You guys go over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Actually, do I have any scouts left alive? I don't think I have any scouts left alive. I should fix that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's go to 3. But yeah, see, my metal income's actually insane right now. So I
Our
keep getting
forces
more
have
and more.
engaged the enemy.
Alright. Everything's going over here. Okay, good.
The future
The other
is
enemies
ours.
aren't there yet.
Very wise. Another planet joins the Unity.
Shouldn't have colonized that so soon.
Direct
Okay,
our
you guys go and deal with that before it decides to go and bomb the planet.
Is it time?
I gotta turn auto cache of that off.
The
It's gonna
future
cause
is
more
ours.
problems than it's worth. Alright, how's my research going?
Our
Wormhole
fleet has
passage.
arrived.
Slowly getting there. Yes, I definitely want that. Because that way I can make sure I can fortify like no tomorrow. Sell a shit ton of metal. And still not enough. That's enough. So I'm going to increase my tactical slots by 10 from that research. Which means that I'll be able to build way more of these. So
Planet development.
you got
complete.
your beam defense platforms, which shoot beams. You've got your hangar defense, which has a bunch of
Knowledge
fighters.
acquired.
Repair platforms. Phase jump inhibitors. So these gray lines you see, and in this case blue lines, are phase lanes. Now, the phase lanes are basically like the hyperspace lanes from Star Wars or anything like that. They are your travel routes. And unlike a lot of games and a lot of... unlike a fair amount of games, you actually have only specific ways you can jump here, which means you end up with some nice little bottlenecks sometime. Like here, there's only one way out of the star, which is to here. Meaning that if I wanted to place a starbase right around here with some serious range, because they can get those, and just have a fleet, just sort of around here, I would essentially have this star blockaded. Meaning that anyone who wanted to attack me would have to come through here. Well, anyone who wanted to attack me from another star system, that is, would have to come through here, and then just head around through whatever I had here. Wormholes add a whole nother complication there because of the fact that there may well be at least one of these leading out of star system.
Knowledge
Because
acquired.
wormholes just to connect to each other, and you have an instantaneous travel route.
Is it
Can be
time?
very nice sometimes. Alright. You got everything there.
Very wise.
Go over there. Oh yeah, so this ship has a really cool ultimate ability.
All bounty has been depleted.
Essentially, if you build another ship of the same type as one of your ships that died, you can use this and bring it back with all the levels and experience that the dead ship had. So essentially, if you lose like a level 9 ship or something, you don't have to worry about leveling up another ship. You can just... yeah, it's back. I built a new one. And it's back now. Have fun. Hangar defenses. That way I can get some fighters and maybe a couple bombers to make sure that my enemies can't just sort of waltz in here and destroy my beamed platforms from afar. We'll set up a basic sort of perimeter defense for now, because I can't really afford much
The
better than
future
that.
is ours.
Oh yeah, no, I leveled it up, did I? I can either do increased
Planet
damage
development complete.
to enemies, or I can do shield regen for my friendlies. I'll go with that because this is useful,
Knowledge
but mainly
acquired.
against large fleets. No, actually, it's not just useful against large fleets. What am I talking about? Anyway, but I want this to be sort of more of a
Knowledge acquired.
supports friendlies as opposed to cripples enemies' ship. Alright.
Construction finished.
I think that guy's having a really bad day. Called a hunch. Alright, I've been recording for almost 30 minutes now. I'm just gonna finish up taking this planet, and then I'm gonna end the video.
Do not dare resist. Do not dare resist. Heathens be purged.
So, I'll just go over planets really quickly. Because I think I mentioned that you've got asteroids, which generally have a couple of metal, well, a metal and a crystal, or two metal, or anything like that. What I didn't mention is the differences between asteroids, volcanic, ice planets, and all these other little things. So, ice planets and volcanic planets. You see a lot of these, and essentially, the volcanic planets are generally very metal rich. So you end up being able to get huge amounts of metal production from them, which is probably why I have 7.7 net income for metal right now and 8.5 gross income. Whereas I don't really have much crystal production, so I have only 2.7 net income for that and 3 gross income. But yeah, asteroids, volcanic planets tend to produce a lot of metal, and the crystal ice planets tend to produce a lot of crystal asteroids. In fact, you will never see a metal asteroid around an ice planet or a crystal asteroid around a volcanic planet. So what's really nice is when you find one of these ice planets that has 3 or 4 crystal asteroids around it, because you can end up just turning that into a crystal production hub. Oh, yeah, like this one right here. Ah, lucky bastards. Did they spawn right next to that? Damn, I think they maybe did? Yeah, maybe? Fuck, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they did, though. But yeah, so you get a lot of metal and crystal production from volcanic and crystal, or volcanic and ice planets, respectively.
Speak your mind.
Meanwhile, asteroids can do both until you get to things like this. Dead asteroids. These are practically worthless. The worth they have is generally in just being able to fortify strategic points. Like this one, if you fortify here, prevents people from just being able to jump through like this. Instead, they have to actually go all the way around, which can give you time to do a lot of things, like reinforce them if you've gotten rid of the pirate base there. Alright.
An empire seeks to bribe our aggression.
Yeah, I'll set
Say
it over
no
there.
more. Construction finished.
Anyway, then you have your desert planets. Desert planets are, they're not bad. They can have sort of the same asteroid distribution as asteroids, but they can support a reasonably high population. Actually, they're fairly good for the Advent, because the Advent originated on a desert world, and because of that, you can actually research stuff that increases their maximum desert population to a, fairly good amount. But after desert comes Terran. And Terran is pretty much your perfect world for people. You can get some pretty insanely high populations. Like if I upgrade civilian infrastructure again here, I get 280 population at max, compared to this place which has 20 max population. Just slightly difference, factor of 10. Actually a factor of 14.
Construction
So I can't actually see how much population I would be able to get on there. That's unfortunate. But yeah, Terran planets are kind of your perfect worlds in a lot of ways. There are pirate bases. If you kill a pirate base, you end up not having to worry about these guys in that particular solar system. issue with taking out a pirate base is, as you can see there, they have a lot of ships there. If I sent my fleet in, it would be decimated. In fact, it takes quite a while to be able to take on a pirate base. At that point, generally, you're able to take on any pirate raid that happens anyway, and it's just more of removing a nuisance than anything else. Now, there's a bunch of other random stuff spread out throughout the galaxy. Here we've got a plasma storm, which disables launching of strike craft in the gravity well. We've got space junk, which does nothing, but what you can see is it does have a couple of neutral metal extractors that you can capture in there. Plasma storm doesn't have anything. Let's see, are there any others around here? Doesn't look like it, but there's like asteroid fields and electrical storms, which are different than plasma storms and disable abilities instead of strike craft. And then there's gas giants. And so every place tends to have something special, whether it's the type of resources they have, or, oh look there, Megafauna. That's something that this place has. As a nice little tourist attraction, meaning that it has increased trade income, which means I'll actually want to build multiple trade ports here. People are off. I'll go over missions next episode, because why not? Sorry if you can hear that truck in the background there. It's garbage day. And yeah, so there's actually an achievement in this game that is, and I kid you not, space ponies. Because you find space ponies. They are incredibly rare, and all you get from them is that achievement. Nothing else. It's just a little shiny badge. And they're completely useless.
Not enough crystal.
So, it's like something you want to get, but you don't want to at the same time, because why do you want space ponies? Space ponies give you nothing. Nothing at all. I need to end the video, but I don't want to. If you can't tell, I rather enjoy this game. And, oh, here we go. I've got a scout here. So, all these, you can sort of see that, you know, there's just a few pirate things. This is, actually, all the pirate ships are modifications on the TEC ships. This one, I believe, I'm not sure what that one is. I don't play TEC much. But this one's the pirate version of their
Planet development complete.
Their sort of heavy cruiser. And their defense platforms. Ah, damn, I couldn't really show you very well, but if you rewind the video and look, there are people there. I think I might have to fight them first. Oh god, especially at the rate they're expanding, Jesus.
Is it time?
Alright, so next episode we wage war. But, yeah, the pirates are just modifications on the TEC ships, and their defense platforms are modifications of the TEC defense platforms. Anyway, I am going to end the video now. Thank you all for watching. I'm just going to keep saving it, so if I ever lose any footage, I can just reload from the previous save and redo it, though I'll know some things I wouldn't have known before. God damn, that truck is loud. But yeah, next episode, we will be going to war, and I'll try to explain probably a few more things about, I guess especially about combat and probably some weaponry upgrades, because that's going to be very important then. Anyway, if you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what I should do next. Tell me what else I should do. Tell me if I'm doing things badly. Tell me if I'm doing things well. Whatever you want, really. Just please don't be an asshat. That's all I really ask. I will try to read any comments that I get. I certainly have enough time to write about now. And I will see you in the next episode. Alright. See you around, folks.